Thought I'd do a little video on a little project I'm starting. Basically, as you can see here, what I have is an Optiplex 790 Dell machine that I picked up off of eBay for $200 free shipping. It's an I-7 2600 3.4 gigahertz processor with 8 gigs of RAM. Basically, I'm gonna do a little gaming build here. The idea is to build a gaming machine for under $400. There's quite a few videos out there on this, and that's what kind of sparked my interest. So I kind of go through what I've done so far. Like I said, I bought the tire here for $200. It had a 2 terabyte drive in it, 8 gigs of RAM, i7 2600. Everything else, it has a CD DVD writer, and that's pretty much. I mean, and it came with the important COA. So that's always important to have, so that I can. That was kind of what motivated me actually to do this whole thing. I have a Windows 7 Enterprise system, and I really like to move to 10. I know that support-wise, that's where we're going to have to go. And I got to look at it. It's going to cost me over $100 to upgrade to a Windows 10 on my current system. And then I got to looking around and found this, which has got an upgradable for free version of Windows 7 to Windows 10 on it from Dell. So for $200, I figure I'm getting a system and a Windows 10 system at the same time, if that makes sense. So anyway, a little bit on the upgrade here. I'm running an AMD, and I really like to try the Intel i7s, and of course I'm not one to spend a whole lot of money. It's kind of a build on a budget, so I'm actually using 5-year-old technology. But the i7 2600 is still a very competitive processor for the gaming world. I did a lot of reading on it, and yeah, you can get a 30 or 40% increase for going to the latest, but considering price for a bang, this is definitely the way I wanted to go. Anyway, I always do SSD drives, and I'm a big Intel SSD fan, so I bought this off of eBay as well, and I think I paid $70 free shipping. It's a 240 gig. It's one of the 2500 Pro Series. That's what I'm actually using on my ADS system, and really like the Intel SSDs. Went ahead and purchased I think I got this off Newegg, but it's an SSD to 3.5, so that I can mount it in the cradle right there for where the floppy drive was. Do a nice neat installation. I picked up a couple G-Skill 8, or they're actually 2 sticks of 4. G-Skill, this is actually, if I'm not mistaken, it's 1600 DDR3, but it'll work fine. And I think I gave like $60 for it. And like I said, it had 8, but it has 4 slots, so I'm going to put the other 8 in there. So I'll have a total of 16 in there. And then I picked up this, I think this is made by Raidmax. I don't scrimp on them. It's an 80 bronze series power supply. It's modular. I picked it up off a Newegg. It's a 530 watt. I don't think the 360 stock one's going to work for me. After I have got on order, I don't have it to show you right now, but I've got a GTX 950 that I'll be installing in here. And of course, it's got extra power headers that the current stock power supply doesn't support, so that'll be coming in. But I'll go ahead and, this isn't really a build, this is more about kind of just showing what I've done to get where I'm at type thing. So basically, kind of just break down the parts. In other words, I'm not going to sit here and video me installing the memory. I think there's 10,000 YouTube videos on how to push memory in a slot, or me installing an SSD into a cradle and then mounting it here, or in a cradle, and then mounting that and the connecting the one cable up to it, which is here, which I have these laying around. And but anyway, basically, yeah, I'm not going to get into that as much as just kind of the upgrade build and what I end up performance-wise for a $400 PC. It'll be broke up in a couple parts. As far as you want to build a gaming machine on a budget, I definitely think it's going to probably outperform my current system, which is about 3 or 4 years old now, at least 3 years old, and it's in Windows 7, like I said. And actually, it's been kind of getting a little flaky here lately. I'll come in and it's powered itself off, so I just knew it was time to look at doing something as far as an upgrade. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and install the parts, and I'll be back. Thought I'd do a little update. As you can see, my little simple build has turned in more than I expected. Basically, just a heads up, the power supply that I bought is Raidmax 530 SS. It does fit, but the problem is this little slide mechanism here for locking the door here, which it still works now even though I got the power supply in, was major in the way. The other power supply would slide right by it. So anyway, I ended up having to pull the motherboard to get it in there. But just a heads up, if you buy an aftermarket power supply, they'll fit, but make sure it's the exact same size. This one was it was same size square wise and width wise and height wise, but it was about an inch longer. So all that work just to get that sucker in there. Well, now I'll try and put this all back together. Yeehaw. Okay, here's with my system all updated with that new power supply right there. That sucker turned into be a bunch of work, more than I expected. I had to pull the motherboard out, and of course then I got in there and decided to pull the CPU and put some cream paste on it and clean out the fans, and you know, you get into the house clean when you get in there. But pretty much got my wire management down. Got a 2 terabyte drive that came with the system is now the storage drive, and then like I said, I bought that 240 gigabyte SSD drive, and I did a disk clone and cloned it over, and actually I'm currently right now doing a backup onto the 2 terabyte from the SSD so that I have the system, the Windows 10. It runs really well. Only thing I got left to do really now is I'm waiting for my GTX 950 to come in, which will go in right there. Of course, I've got this connector here, which I bought the modular type, so I have this harness right here will be the one that plugs into there to hook it up into the PCI Express slot right there. But other than that, I got the 8 or 16 gigs. I got my 2 4 gigs of skull memory in there. It's running great. Really like the blue luminance of the fan, and it's kind of a neat power supply. It's actually got a switch that you can turn the lights on and off, which I thought was cool. Here's what it looks like from the back. Anyway, we haven't really got in any testing. You know, a bunch of migration right now. I've still got a bunch more to migrate over before I make this my main PC, but so far so good. I really like this case, other than, boy, that was if you do one of these Optiplex 790s, definitely kind of check your size of your power supply, because boy, that turned into a beast to get in there. I really like it. Raidmax is a nice power supply, and I got it for $40 off a Newegg. It's amazing what you can get it for now, and it's modular, so it makes the wire management really look nice. But anyway, that's pretty much where I am right now. I'll wait and get some more on this video when I get the card in. Oh, I also, the built-on audio on the Dell 790 doesn't have digital out, and I run a surround system through it, so I went and dug through my bins and found an OPCI Sound Blaster Audigy, which always made better sound anyway, and I went ahead and installed it, since they now support Windows 10, and that's another one of the house cleaning days. I got to go ahead and install the sound drivers and apps for it, which is kind of cool, and I'll just disable the home board. Unfortunately, I haven't found a way in BIOS to disable it, so I guess I'll just have to disable it in Device Manager and go about it that way. Here, there's the way she looks. New power supply, new memory. CPU doesn't get warm at all. I thought about upgrading the CPU, but CPU cooler, but I mean, it really, seems like the stock one's doing just fine. I'm not getting any heat at all off of it. and I'm just pretty heavy backup and stuff, so I think it runs at like 28 Celsius, which is basically room temperature. So anyway, come back with another update when I get that card in. Okay, got my build done. Got my 950 GTX card in there with the PCI connector. As you can see, that's the reason I put that power supply in her. Oh, that was a bear. But the only thing I've had a little bit of problem with is you look down there, the SATA connectors. They just almost getting away with the video card, but it's working. So just kind of have to fold them over. I'm going to find some low profile SATA cables, and it should solve that, because a little bit shorter one wouldn't be a problem. But other than that, we're golden. System's really running well. I'll do some performance checks, but I can definitely tell you it's zippier than my AMD one. Not bad for a $400 build, and that's with SSD drive, GTX 950, 16 gigs of RAM, of course the Dell Optiplex 790 power supply. I think that's a bargain build. Definitely, yes, it's a 4-year-old I-7 processor, 5-year-old I-7 processor, but like I said, for the extra $250 to get a current i7, you get like 25-30% in performance increase. Don't see where that would be worth it. This is definitely still a very competitive system. Seems to run really well. I'm just now getting sorted out with Windows 10, trying to get everything. Drivers seem to be fine. Had a few little things. One thing that was weird was, if you ever do one of these 790s, is I couldn't get it to recognize my hard drives, and I could not figure out why. But apparently, my guess is because it started working after I did it. But the way you set up the SATA cables on the motherboard and the way you set up the boot preference in the BIOS makes all the difference in the world. Because once I had the SSD drive, I had it to where it recognized the SSD drive and the DVD drive, but it would not recognize my 2 terabyte drive. And I messed with it. Then I moved the SATA cables around, and then it recognized my SSD drive, and it recognized my 2 terabyte drive, but it wouldn't recognize the DVD drive. So I went in there and disabled floppy, and then put those 3 first on the boot series, and all 3 of them popped up, and it's been working fine since. But maybe this is a good little info there. And I'm going to go ahead, and I've got a 1 terabyte drive in my old PC that I'm going to move over here. I went ahead and ordered another one of these drive holders here. They're like $7 off of eBay, so that I can mount it with the factory, because it's actually got a spot for 2 there. So I have a 3 terabytes of storage plus my 250 gigabyte SSD drive, and that will pretty much be the system build. I'm getting ready to put the side cover on, because until I get that one and tear my other system down, I'm not going to add the other drive. I did go ahead and I've got the cable already set up to do it. And it's already got the power connector and there, so it's just waiting on the tray, and this will be one done system. Really happy with it. Like I said, I might do a little final on here, but I think for $400 you can't beat it. Okay, as promised, I'm going to give you a little I used the 3D benchmark to do a benchmark on my new Dell 790 conversion. Basically, I started out with Firestrike at all high settings, including max resolution, and as you can see, my score highlighted in green was 5305. A gaming laptop came in at 3364, a standard notebook at 1479, and then the gaming PC, which was a high-end GTX 970, I believe is what it was compared to, and it came in at 9271. So basically, I'm right in between a $1,500 PC and a $1,500 laptop with my $400 PC. I think that's pretty impressive. And of course, you have the 4K gaming PC, which was I don't know, two 980s SLI, and I don't know, 32 gigabytes of RAM, etc. But you're talking $3,000 PC there, so I think I did pretty good. From the way I look at it, I came in between $1,500 a laptop and a gaming PC with my $400 PC. I think that's pretty impressive. Okay, the next one is I use Skydiver. Still high resolution, probably more in the range of Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, those type games. And I know I averaged, I think, 72 frames per second on the benchmark, so pretty impressive. Again, I came in between the gaming PC and the gaming laptop at 15808. Actually, about 50% better than the gaming laptop, and I bet you that's about a $1,500 laptop, and closer to the gaming PC. I thought that was pretty impressive. And if you notice at the top here, I was better than 53% of all results. That means that I'm in the top 50% of people that have done benchmarks on gaming PCs. So that's pretty impressive for a $400 PC. And then this last slide is CloudGate, which is definitely lower end. I'd call it like a 2D game. Something you could play on a standard Office PC, probably pretty good. I know that I was averaging like 170 frames per second on it, but my score came in at 17,337, which is 2.5 times more than a gaming laptop, and maybe less than 10% on the gaming PC. I think that has probably to do with the CPU and not having the high-end video card. As we all know in gaming, the more you spend on the video cards, where you really get your bang for a buck. And my $90 card, I bet you if I'd have put a high-end card in there, I'd have probably been right up there with it. But this was a build on a budget, and I wanted to keep it around $400. So I'm really thrilled with my benchmark scores on this. And again, at the top, I was better than 70% of all results. That means I'm in the top 30% with a $400 4-year-old Dell with, the way I look at it, a free Windows 10 upgrade. So if you take that out, really I only had about 300 in the PC. So anyway, that's my benchmark results. I hope you enjoyed this little video. It was fun to do, and I've just been jamming on it. I do really like the new video card. Some of the stuff I didn't add in on this is that the wattage. I've checked the wattage on my old PC, and it pulled about 260 watts, just pretty much at idle at a browser, and my new one pulls 165 watts. So I say that I make it's green, but it amazes me. I'm getting about 38% more performance out of this Intel than I was AMD, and I'm pulling 100 less watts. So I think that's a win-win. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Electron Man.